Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 worst superhero movies. I talked about my best, that I'm redoing these best and worst superhero movies because last time I did it, it was a long time ago. My opinions have changed on a lot of things. My orders for things have changed, so time for the worst. This one's a little different because I'm going to try to be more objective than subjective. My best video is more like my favorites. This one, I'm actually, yes, these are still like my least favorites, but I'm also trying to interject. Like, I feel like a lot of these are objectively terrible films. Like, they're bad movies, bad stories, bad writing. They look hideous. They're just terrible films. So I try to be more objective in this list. So here we go. Top 10 worst superhero movies. Let's talk about those dishonorable mentions. Elektra, very close to making the list. Terrible film. Jennifer Garner, she's a decent actress. She's god-awful in this movie. God-awful. Eternals, clustered, clumsy, dull, derivative, and just overly long and just agonizing to sit through. So, terrible. Catwoman, another one, just an embarrassing film. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what they were going for with this movie, but we got it. Blade Trinity is another terrible one because first two Blade movies were just so great. The fact that they ended on this note was just disappointing. And Steel. Shaquille O'Neal. That's all I gotta say right there. Shaquille O'Neal in a superhero movie. That should say it all. Alright, let's get to the top 10. Number 10. Thor: Love and Thunder. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no. No. Because this movie is more like on the divisive side. Some people think it's a lot of fun, it's enjoyable, it's a good time. Some people say it's terrible. I agree. It's really bad. It's a terrible, terrible movie. It is one of the worst movies of this year. And it's hilarious because this is not the only superhero movie that came out this year that's going to be on this list. Thor: Love and Thunder gets everything wrong. The story beats are wrong. The tone is all over the place. It's inconsistent. They have a villain that's like scary, intimidating, but he doesn't work in this sort of tone and feel of a film. Christian Bale like just doesn't belong in the movie. His performance is almost so good it destroys the movie even more because you feel like he's in another movie. The comedy is terrible. The visuals looked awful. The movie cinematography looks terrible. All the characters are stale and one note. Anytime it tries to be emotional, it ruins it with a joke. And anytime they try to be just a straight comedy, they try to get darker, but then it doesn't work with its other tones. It's so inconsistent with everything it's doing. It's just a mess to sit through. It's mind-numbing to sit through, and it's a painful movie to watch. I watched this movie once, and I could barely get through it. I could barely sit through this fucking movie. And if people had fun with it, that's cool. They think it's a great movie. It's a fun time. All the power to you. I think it is legit horrible. It's terrible. So, yeah. Number 9, though. This is a more shittier Marvel film. That's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel, once again, tries to do like an origin story of Carol Danvers. She's not very interesting in the comics, so it's very hard to make her interesting in film form. But they really chose a bad actress for this one. Brie Larson. Very polarizing, to say the least. She is not good in this movie. Very, very, very miscast for this one. It could have been the direction, too, because I've seen Brie Larson play some decent roles like Room and Scott Pilgrim. She's been pretty good in some movies. She is dreadful in this movie. She's not likable. She doesn't express any emotions, and when she tries to express emotions, they come off very forced. Even some of her dialogue scenes just come off really amateurish. Her performance is very amateurish, and I felt like every acting in this movie felt like CW level of acting. It's a little weird to sit through. The action is terrible. Captain Marvel as a character, she's just not interesting and not likable, and she's perfect at everything, and she never has she never has like her fall, her hero's journey where she falls and picks herself back up again. No, she's just amazing at everything. The music is also just a little too on the nose, and just, yeah, I think Captain Marvel is a disaster of a film, but again, it's got its fan base, so who am I to say? Number 8. I think this is the most boring, and it's probably my least favorite MCU film. Iron Man 2. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I think every good development they gave Tony Stark in the first Iron Man, it almost like ruins it in this movie. They make him like he's like going forward, but they give him like 10 steps back in Iron Man 2. They make him more unlikable in this movie. They make him stupid sometimes, and they make him just this jackass, and like he's not listening, and he's doing all these things that he wouldn't do, and I hate it. I hate it for that. Because he learned so much in the first Iron Man. His growth was so great. His character development. He grew so much as a person. There's no growth in this movie. He just kind of just downgrades even to more of a shittier person than he was in the beginning of the first Iron Man. I hated that. I hated watching that. All the politics stuff is boring. The villain is boring. There's so much things in this movie that just drag on. The only scene that was kind of entertaining was Black Widow kicking the shit out of those dudes in the ending. Other than that, this movie is just a chore to sit through, and I absolutely despise it. And I think Iron Man 3 was a lot better. Still a very problematic movie, but Iron Man 2, I hate it so much because it ruins everything that Iron Man 1 accomplished. So I fucking can't stand this movie. Number 7 is probably the most ugliest superhero film ever made. Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds. It took him a few tries. Like, he failed as Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he really fails in this one as Hal Jordan. Oh my god. Really bad. Some of the worst CGI ever. Who CGI's a mask? Like, what fucking idiot thought of that was a good idea? Are they fucking stupid? Like, the writing is terrible. The villain is a big poop cloud. What was about the 2000s and early 2010s that villains were just big fart clouds? And this movie's terrible. It tries to be like Top Gun meets like Avatar. It's a bad movie. Let's just say that. It's a bad movie. Number 6, Dark Phoenix. X-Men is so rocky and all over the place because I actually like the first 2 X-Men films in the 2000s. I think they're good. X-Men 3 sucked. Origins Wolverine sucked. But then they got better. Like, you know, like, oh, First Class. The Wolverine I enjoyed and stuff. Days of Future Past. I'm like, oh, okay. But then they brought in the Dark Phoenix story, and I'm like, I'm like, well, X-Men 3 The Last Stand, they fucked that story up. So if they're going to do it again, it can't be any worse than what X-Men The Last Stand did. And lo and behold, they make it even worse. I don't know how they did that. Like, X-Men The Last Stand was really bad, but at least X-Men Last Stand had, like, Hugh Jackman and Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Like, they're great. And there's a couple, and Kelsey Grammer's Beast. Like, they have some good stuff in that movie. This one, they fucked everything up. Like, the funny thing is, I feel like none of the movies know the Dark Phoenix story because Jean becomes the Phoenix before she becomes the Dark Phoenix. The Phoenix isn't bad. The Dark Phoenix is bad. But they skip over the Phoenix saga and they go right to Dark Phoenix, and I don't know why they do that. And again, they didn't have enough movies to develop these characters for us to give a shit about, because the only ones we give a shit about is James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, and even then, I feel like they're like sleepwalking their way through this fucking movie. I feel like they were not even invested. The action was awful. The acting was terrible. Every scene with Jennifer Lawrence was agonizing. The only thing that was great is watching her die by Jean Grey. That was fun. I enjoyed that. But this movie was awful, just awful. And I'm actually very happy that this movie bombed, because I'm like, okay, good, we can just stop doing the Dark Phoenix saga. Clearly, they don't know how to do it, so just don't do it again. If you want to see it actually on maybe a small screen, watch X-Men the Animated Series. They did the Phoenix Saga, hell of a lot better. Go watch that. Number 5, Morbius. It's Morbin time. They make a villain into a good guy. Superhero. Fuck me. I'm not gonna say Morbius was like that bad of a guy, but he was a Spider-Man villain and stuff. Making a movie about him is the same thing what they did with Venom. Like making Venom a good guy. It's so dumb. Morbius is just dumber. Jared Leto, once again, proving that he's not that great of an actor. Unless he's doing Dallas Buyers Club, he's not that great. I hated him in this movie. He was awful. Again, the CGI is like 2002 looking CGI. Oh god. It was so paint by numbers, basic and generic, that I felt like I've seen this story like a million times. It was just, oh god, I almost fell asleep watching this movie. It's one of the worst sittings I had to sit through this entire year watching movies. Oh god. But yeah. Good news, we're not going to get a sequel. Anyways, number 4, Bad for Stick. This is the only thing I'm actually hoping Marvel does something really good with it, because clearly they don't know how to make a good Fantastic Four movie. They tried in the 90s. They tried in the 2000s. They tried in 2015. And the 2015 one was just embarrassing. This ruined Josh Trank's career. This soured a lot of people's careers, anyone who was involved in this movie. It looks like it was like a $1 million independent film, even though it was like a $50 million budget film. It was so badly lit. I felt like they didn't own camera lights filming this movie. Dr. Doom looked like he was a Power Rangers villain. And Miles Teller I think he thought he was in a different movie. This movie's awful. It's awful. It's so bad. Again, I've done a whole review of this movie. It's terrible. Everyone's talked about it. It's abysmal. Number 3, Batman and Robin. This is like everyone's go-to number 1. And that's a pretty spot-on answer, really, because Batman and Robin is a shit movie. As a movie, objectively, it's terrible. The writing is terrible. The directing is terrible. Every piece of acting in this movie is awful. The costumes look ridiculous. It's so silly. It doesn't take anything seriously. It almost shits on the whole Batman story, Mr. Freeze's story, everybody's story. It's something that you would see, again, like in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode or something. However, the reason it's not number 1 or 2 is because it's kind of funny. Objectively, it's a 1 out of 10. It's an F. It's a failure of a film. It's terrible. But it is a movie I can put on and laugh at because it is so bad. It is literally one of those movies. I think it's the only movie on this top 10 list I can actually legit say it is a movie that is so bad, it's pretty funny. So it's got that going for it. Anyways, number 2, Superman 4, Quest for Peace. This is not a funny movie. This is just hard to look at. This movie was dated even when it came out in the late 80s. When did this movie come out? 87, 89, something like that. Even in the late 80s, this movie was dated. This feels like it was visual effects from like the 50s. Like it was awful. Nuclear Man, what? They even borrowed the same shots from the first Superman movie. They have John Cryer in the movie as well. Like, what? Ducky as a villain? I feel like everyone who was just involved with this movie was like completely just checked out, and they're just like, well, they want us to make another Superman movie. I don't know, throw a bunch of shit down there and just call it a day. I feel like there was no care or effort into this movie, so you can really tell it's fucking garbage. Anyways, it's not the worst. I think this one is technically the worst film, like, ever. That is Supergirl. I think Supergirl is the worst thing I've ever seen. It does everything wrong. Everything. It has bad writing, acting, direction, costumes, the score, the editing, the production, everything is a complete failure. And I'm baffled. When I saw this movie, I was baffled at what the fuck I was even looking at. This is like not even a movie. This feels like a student project for like a college course. But no, it's a real big Hollywood budget film. And it's god awful. Like, I think, like, you can really debate that Superman 4 and Batman and Robin are worse movies. Possibly. To me, though, just filmmaking wise, storytelling wise, this movie's miles worse than both of those. I'm just saying. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below. What did you think of this top 10 list? Do you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me guys your top 10s. What do you think of the worst superhero movies, in your opinion? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and join the dark side.